Hey, what's up YouTube? It's a Blue Golf Ball here today with another Pokemon TCG Online video, and today I have for you guys a Articuno deck, and a number of you guys have requested for this deck, and so I thought, alright, it is time to build an Articuno deck, and so we're going to be running 3 Articunos here. It's a 170 HP Team Plasma Pokemon, so it will get rotated in a couple of months, but anyways, as of right now, let's go ahead and play this in the standard format. It's going to be a ton of fun. It's got the attack Blizzard. It does 10 damage to each of your opponent's bench Pokemon, and it also does 60 damage, so that's actually pretty solid, pretty good. But the attack, what we want to focus on is Frost Prison. If this Pokemon has any plasma energy attached to it, the defending Pokemon is now paralyzed. So it's going to take a little while to power up Articuno. It takes 4 energies, and it only does 80, so it's kind of weak. And, I mean, you paralyze them, so you can kind of, you know, unless your opponent is playing Keldeo with Russian and Retreat, you paralyze them, and the only way they can get out of it is switch. So, I don't know. We'll have to see how this can get pulled off. Now, we will be teaming up with 2 Seismitoads here with Quaking Punch. It is kind of slow to set up and power up Articuno EX, so we're going to have to go with a nice, slow Pokemon like Seismitoad. We will be playing 1 Mewtwo EX for X-Ball. You never know when that can come in handy. And then we're going to be playing a 2-2 line of Garbodor to shut off Sigilyph. Things like also like Keldeo, things like Pyroar. We'll shut off all those things. And Garbodor is going to be our only answer to that. So only 10 Pokemon and 8 basic totals, and that's about it. Let's take a look at the item cards and whatnot. We have 2 Culver's Machines. We have 1 Escape Rope, 4 Hypnotoxic Lasers, and you know, we want to be annoying with this deck. We got Professor's Letter. We got a Scramble Switch here, so it's very helpful to power up the Articuno and things like that. We got starting on Megaphone. We got 1 Switch, 1 Team Plasma Ball, 3 Ultra Balls to get the Pokemon out. We have 2 VS Seekers, and then for the support line, we got 2 Lysanders, 1 Lysander Trump card. We got 3 Ends, 1 Professor Birch's Observation, and 4 Juniper, Shadow Triad, 1 of those, and a Skyla. And then we also have Frozen City Gym, 1 of these, and 2 Verbank City Gyms. And then we got 3 Float Stones and 2 Muscle Bands. The Float Stones work very well to shut off the abilities and also using for Seismitoad to retreat and things like that. We have 4 DCEs, or 3 DCEs, 3 Plasma Energies, and I think 6 Water Energies. So, I don't know. I haven't really tested this deck too much, but let's go ahead and see this deck in action on Pokemon TCG Online. Alright, looks like we're going against Phenom Death, and that is going to be a water deck, and I'm going to flip for heads, and no, we go second, which is not too bad. If we can start off with Seismitoad and a DCE, that would be awesome. We do start with Seismitoad, and we even get a Team Plasma Ball, and we even get Juniper. Look at that, even and a Hypnotoxic Laser. Oh, this is too good to be true, and look at that. So we get everything going for us. Another Articuno can come out here. And let's just go with the Juniper. No need to play anything else. We even get a Culver's Machine. Look at that. Okay. This is a very great start here. And let's take a look at what we can do here. We have a Lysander, not much else. We don't get an energy drop, but at least we got the Culver's Machine to kind of make up for that. We're playing against a Totodile, so we could see, oh boy, Totodile, it's a fun Pokemon, huh? Fury Swipes, or, well, this is Fury Strikes. Flipping 3 coins, his attack does 10 damage with the number of heads. Alright, Phenom Death, not too sure what you're playing, but ooh, we see a Sparkling Robe. That's no good. Now our lasers are all for naught, and too bad we couldn't pull off. No DCE here. I'm a little bit curious if we can maybe possibly get a supporter. I don't know. We don't play Jirachi in this deck. We get a Scramble Switch. That's kind of useless. And that's it. Wow, we end the turn off of a very bad note. Alright, we're not getting much of anything here. We see a Mudkip over there. Might have to use the Escape Rope to get the Mudkip into play. But my opponent also, oh my goodness, my opponent gets another Sparkling Robe over there. We can use the Starling Megaphone, but I'm going to hang on to that. Good thing I hung on to this point, but we get hit for another 10 damage. Oh man, this is kind of brutal. Let's see here. We can get tackled. I don't know. I'm just going to end the turn. So what can happen next is maybe, I don't know, we'll get a DCE at some point. I'm not sure. But here we go. Mudkip gets another energy drop. Wow, if my opponent flips for 3 heads, getting hit for 30 damage. And we do get a Verbank City Gym here. Well, all right. I'm just gonna end the turn. I guess the Seismitoad is just gonna take hits for us this whole day. So there's really not much we can do. We have a Mudkip over here. My opponent flips for 1 heads. And here we go. This is a very slow start. Okay, you know what? Forget this. I'm fed up with this. All right, let's go with this. I'm gonna go with the. Let's go with the muscle band. I'm gonna go with the escape rope. Bring that out. Let's go with the scramble switch. All right, I'm fed up with this. Let's start. Oh man, okay, this could be a bad idea, but you know what? Let's get rid of this total dial. That's the least I can do. And okay, here we go. I want to take a prize at least, so let's get rid of that total dial, and we get a Juniper. That's fantastic. Okay. My opponent can definitely do something like a rare candy and evolve here and take out the Seismitoad in 1 hit. My opponent would be able to do 130 damage off of a Hydro Pump if my opponent has the Swampert. Otherwise, that's about as explosive as I can get. I desperately needed this Juniper here, and I got it off the prizes. Oh man! So hopefully we don't see rare candy Swampert. If we did, then. Tough luck for me, but anyways, here we go. Let's see, we get, wow, here's a DCE. Well, thank you. I don't need that anymore. We'll go with the Floatstone, and let's go with the Juniper. And we get the Seismitoad here. Let's go with the Hypnotoxic Laser. This should finish him off. Quaking Punch, and there we go. Alrighty then. Pretty slow start, but we have our opponent locked up, and we are prime and ready to power up an Articuno. I'm going to go ahead and probably just play the energy onto this Articuno. We're going to, man, that's a lot of energies we're going to be investing into this Articuno here. But we could just go for a Blizzard. I mean, just throw in a water energy and we can start blizzarding away. That's definitely an option as well. My opponent would be able to hit us for a little tackle, but that's it. GG. I'm going to let my opponent know, hey, GG, sorry about that. And, you know, let's go with the Hypnotoxic Laser, and that's it. Quaking Punch. That's going to wrap up this match. We didn't even see Articuno do anything. So, my opponent says not really. Oh, man. Okay, that was pretty bad. Let's go ahead. We're going to play one more here. Hopefully we can run into, I don't know. If I end up losing, big whoop. But I'm going to have to find out if we can see a decent matchup, a nice tennis game here. My opponent is going to be Gambi17. It's going to be a Psychic deck, and we'll have to take a look at what kind of Psychic deck it's going to be. It could be something like Wobbuffet and Bats. It could be something like Mewtwo and Bats. It could be something like Gengar and Bats. I'm just kidding. Everything's with Bats. My goodness. And we get to go first, so I mean that's not too bad. I'd like to, if it's going to be a Bats, I want to shut them off right away, right? So I want to go ahead and go for the Ultra Ball and just shut off these Bats right off the bat. So right off the bat, no, not funny. Okay, all right, forget it. Let's take a look at what we have here. I'm definitely going to be choosing the Seismitoad. That's our only option here. Gambi17 or 17. Has chosen an active Pokemon, and we'll have to wait and see. Maybe it's a Mewtwo. That would be pretty devastating. Oh, it is Bats! Alright, this is it. Let's go ahead. Let's go. Let's go, folks. Let's go. Alright. Let's go ahead, and we'll get the Trubbish out here. So I'm not going to play anything yet. I'm going to end the turn. These guys can't evolve yet. This Zubat can probably retreat, but otherwise we should see that's about it. And it's going to be Mew and Bats. Maybe we're going to see a Wobbuffet. My opponent was able to flip heads off of that. In the next turn, I want to go for the Garbodor, and if we can shut this off, playing the Professor's Birch's Observation, even if we flip Tails, if we can get one Full Stone, I will be very pleased. If we can get a Full Stone and an Energy Drop, I would be extremely pleased. But anyways, here we go. We see the Dimension Valley. My opponent can definitely go for, oh my goodness, my opponent can play Quaking Punch. Oh no, that is devastating. Oh man, that is brutal. Playing Quaking Punch, copying our attack. And we got to counter the stadium as soon as we can. So here we go. We got Quaking Punched ourselves. Oh, that silly little Mew. And we were able to hit heads. And, alright, so let's go ahead. We're going to go with this. And I'm just going to go Quaking Punch back. Take that, Mew. And you get a Quaking Punch. And you get a Quaking Punch. And you get a Quaking Punch. So in the next turn, I'm just going to take out this Mew EX. I'm just going to play, you know what, I'm sick of this. I'm just going to play the DCE, and I'm going to go for, remember, we always have the Scramble Switch. And so I'm going to knock out this Mew. I don't want to deal with, I really don't want to deal with this anymore. So let's just go ahead. We will allow my opponent to have the benefit of having item cards and whatnot. But at some point, I'd like to lock him again. And here we go. There is. Oh my goodness, how annoying. And you know what? This is good. I'm gonna go and I'm gonna play for this Shadow Triad here. And let's go with this. And we'll go with the Grenade Hammer, taking out the stinking Mew. And we'll take 2 prizes there. We also have a Mewtwo EX. We do have a Lysander in the prize cards as well. My opponent now can start attacking and targeting the Garbodor. I'm going to have to play this other Trubbish. Again, we have the Professor Birch's Observation. We have Ends. I have a Mewtwo here that can take out this Golbat maybe, but I don't know. Maybe we'll just play it slow and remove. Oh my goodness, my opponent gets a repeat ball. That's going to be another Golbat coming here. And there it is. There's a Golbat. Good thing we don't see any Crobats at the very least. And there's a Golbat if you ever see one. And that's 20 damage on our. Oh my goodness, that's another 30 onto this. I'm going to have to take out this. Oh man, I'm going to take out this Crobat in one shot here. And yes, my opponent will still have energies to boot, but I don't know. Okay, so looks like my opponent is powering up a Mewtwo over there. We could get hit with a side drive, so ooh, that could be a little inconvenient. We get hit for 80 on the side drive. We have a Garbodor. Let's take a look at what we can do. We got a Mewtwo there. I'm going to go with the N. It's always a terrible idea. And we're going to end the turn. My opponent will knock out the Garbodor. We could see something like the Crobat again, but I played the N to kind of disrupt my opponent. And oh my goodness, we see a Trevenant. And my opponent goes for Roller Skates and hits for Tails. Hopefully my opponent just goes for a X-Ball. That would be fantastic. I will take out the Mew in the next turn. My opponent goes and yes, flips for Tails. Oh my goodness, my opponent gets an N. And ooh, we get a Juniper off this. We can counter the stadium as well. So what I'd like to do is shut off these abilities. If I can do that, I can play this before my opponent plays the Trevenant, then that would be money. So here we go. I'm going to go ahead and let's take a look at our options here. I'm just going to go aggressive here and discard, and we miss out on this, but let's see. We'll be doing 1, 2, 3, 120 plus poison. That's not enough. I'm going to go ahead and, you know what, let's just go big or go home right here. And let's go for the X-Ball, taking out 200 damage. And there it is. We didn't get a Muscle Band. If I had the Muscle Band, I would have gladly played that instead. We couldn't shut off the abilities. My opponent has a stinking Golbat here. At least we got the Float Stone down, so that way my opponent's Trevenant won't be able to counter that unless they have a Starling Megaphone. But here's the Articuno. I mean, Articuno, you're a little late to the party, buddy. I mean, come on, we've already gotten 4 prizes, and then you finally show up, huh? Oh, that's no good. My opponent goes for a teammate, so we could see something like a Crobat targeting the Trubbish, and that would absolutely be inconvenient. As of right now, our Mewtwo would be doing 1, 2, 3, 4, 80 damage. That's a knockout on the Crobat. But again, we are weak in Psychic. They are not. And, excuse me, gotta wait and see what my opponent gets off of these teammates here. We have an N that we don't really want to play. We can always go for a Professor Birch's Observations. That's always a viable choice as well. We do have Hypnotoxic Lasers that we can go for. A number of different things. So here we go. My opponent goes and puts on 30 damage. We can get hit for, a ton of more damage here. Actually, my opponent can take out the Trubbish, and oh, never mind, just retreats into the Trevenant, and that's it. We don't really see much else. We're doing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 100 damage, so we're a little bit short, but I can play the Energy, and so we get the Garbodor. This shut off those abilities, so this is shut off. We can use items now, and let's take a look at what our options are. Definitely. Oh, my opponent concedes the match, and we didn't even get to use the Articuno. Oh man, this is just a Mewtwo and Seismitoad deck. No Articuno. Articuno hasn't done squat today. All right, come on, Articuno. We'll play one more match. I really want to use this Articuno. I only have Mewtwo as a tech. There's only one copy of Mew in this deck. I only have 2 copies of Seismitoad as a tech, just to slow opponents down. This deck is supposed to be an Articuno deck. And oh my goodness, Articuno is a lazy bird that just comes out of the deck when we're down. We're only 2 prizes away from victory. What a lazy bird. Okay, so let's take a look. We're playing against What's Good, and it's going to be a Metal, Water, and Psychic deck. I'm going to go for heads, and yes, we get to go first. That's always good news for us. We start off, end up mulling again a number of times. We get the Mew to... not the card I really want to see as right now. My opponent will mulligan a couple. We'll get to draw a couple more cards. We get a Trubbish. Might as well play that for now. That way we can evolve into the Garbodor later. And okay, so we get. Might as well. I'm gonna end the turn here, and maybe if we can get another energy, I'll go ahead and play the Muscle Band, and that would be 60. And then if we have a laser, this is kind of a long stretch, right? The only thing I can think of is if we can get end. If we top deck an end. Oh wow, my opponent plays an end. And hey, look at that. We get the laser. We don't get the Verbing City Gym, but we get a lot of different things that we want. So this is pretty good. We see a Cubchoo over there. We see a Team Aqua's Grimer. Oh, that's interesting. So this is going to be some kind of Beartic deck that's going to stack our retreat costs big time. So we get the Garbodor. We'll shut that off right now. Let's go ahead. We'll shut that off. I'm going to play the energy. Let's go with the Hypnotoxic Laser. Let's go with the N. And we get a Verbing City Gym. We get the Articuno. We also get the Seismitoad. We get everything going for us here. Let's go with the X-Ball. Take this guy out. Stays asleep or actually wakes up, but doesn't matter. We get wow, we're getting everything we need here. We even get a Colress machine, and that means we can actually, if we get a Colress machine, so let's say we top deck another N or maybe a Juniper. What we'll do is we'll play the Lysander, we'll go with the Colress machine, and man, if we off of a supporter, if we can get a Scramble Switch and Energy Drop, that would be legit. And then we can start going for the Frost Prison finally. But anyways, we see a Cubchoo over here. We will potentially see. We could see something like the Beartic coming out soon. And here is the Team Aqua's Grimer. We got 2 of those already. So my opponent would be doing damage to himself by having his retreat costs increase as well. So that's a little bit inconvenient for my opponent. Well, my opponent uses an Ultra Ball to discard 2 Ultra Balls and gets out the Beartic. We could see like an Igloo hold right here. Our retreat cost is still only at 2, and we even see oh boy, we get hit for 90. So let's take a look at what we have going for us here. I'm going to go ahead and just play these guys down. Let's go for this as well, and we'll thin out the deck a little bit more, get the Colress machine going. Playing that over here, so we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and that's a knockout. Let's go ahead. We'll just knock out this Beartic in one shot. My opponent stays asleep. Doesn't really matter. We get a Float Stone. We can play it on the Trubbish over here, but I want to hang on to it in case my opponent plays a Starling Megaphone. But anyways, our Mewtwo EX is in pretty good shape. We're at 80 HP left, but anything can happen. We could see something like a DCE drop. Never mind, all we see is an energy drop, so no DCE there. Let's go ahead and, well, looks like we can go with the Colress machine. Let's go with that. I'm just going to evolve here. Let's thin out the deck a little bit more, take out the last Colress machine, and we'll power up this Articuno. So all we need now is a water energy. We can use Blizzard. And all right, let's go with the X-Ball with the damage increase for weakness, I think, right? Are they weak against? What are they weak against? Oh, yeah, they're weak against Psychic. Okay, so that's good. And we can thin out the deck even more by bringing out the last Articuno. And so every deck thinning counts. My opponent has increased, or my opponent's ability doesn't work, so that doesn't really matter. Let's go ahead. We'll bring out the last Articuno, and we'll just knock this guy out with the... Oh my goodness, this is like Mewtwo's deck. Mewtwo's just taken over here. Articuno is nowhere to be found. Articuno is just chilling and not chilling like a villain. Oh my goodness. And we see a silver bangle. My opponent goes for Fury swipes. Well, let's take a look here. We could play the muscle band, and I mean, X-ball. Oh man, Articuno, where are you at, buddy? Where you at, man? Oh, okay, all right. I'm gonna play one more match. If Articuno decides to never show up, he's a no-show. For some reason, we just can never pull off the Articuno. We can never get a Frost Prison going. We can never do any of this. We've been playing. This is the third match already, and all the wins are pretty convincing. Oh my goodness, we're playing against Gabe 1-7 again, and it's another Psychic deck. So we get a rematch here, and we get to go first. So let's go ahead. We're gonna try to get this Garbodor going as soon as we can. But if he wins, then you know what? That's great. He can take the win, and we start off with nothing again. Ooh, we get. Seismitoad, and this is a great start here. So here we go. I'm gonna go ahead and just play the DCE, and let's go with the N. Yeah, I guess. Ooh, finally we can get Articuno going. Look at that, huh? Articuno gets to see some playing time. I'm gonna go ahead and play Skyla for the Float Stone, and then evolve into the Garbodor, and that way hopefully we can shut off my opponent, and we can also shut off my opponent from removing the Float Stone by using Quaking Punch. That way my opponent can't play Starling Megaphone. Even if my opponent discards the DCE here, I have another DCE. The only way out of this would be if my opponent plays an N. Besides that, we are in a good position, and my opponent concedes. That's it, folks. I'm done. I just can't get Articuno going. And I don't know, guys. If you guys have, you guys watch this video and you guys want to build this deck, let me know if you guys can get Articuno going. But for some reason, this whole time, I just can't get him going. So anyways, if you like the video, feel free to give it a thumbs up. And if you're new to the channel, please subscribe. There's a little red button there, I think. I don't know, somewhere here. But yeah, hopefully you guys have a good day. You guys take care, and I'll see you guys later. Goodbye.